Hi everyone, I'm Hoodie Angel Brandon, and welcome to another Fire Emblem Heroes unit build showcase. Today we are here with the good boy Morgan, and we are going to build him up as the newest member of the Angel Army, welcome him into the ranks. So yeah, I've actually had Morgan as a potential project for over a year, and I just haven't really gotten around to it. I couldn't really decide a build that I was super in love with. But now I think I've got one that looks fun to mess around with. And while since I always played as male Robin, I never really got to have male Morgan in Awakening. I always got female Morgan instead. The characters are actually pretty similar. You know, this one's a cute boy, and this one's a cute girl, so you know, not too different. But we love our Morgan regardless. And we accept them either way, so we're going to build this good boy up and get him ready to join our Angel Army and help take down units. Especially because I do want a red ranged unit, it seems pretty nice to have. I've got at least one ranged unit on every other color, so rounding out that red coverage, even though red is my most common unit color type, will be nice to have as an option. It must be weird going to another world and seeing yourself, but like, the opposite gender. I'd be really curious what it'd be like if it happened to me. I'd date myself. I mean, I'd date myself anyway, though, so maybe that doesn't mean much. Anyway, regardless of the world, I'm the cutest. Brandy is best girl. So, as I mentioned, we are going to be building him up, and I did actually have an old one that I used as a budget unit. That was plus res, but then I got a plus speed one that I want to merge into, so we're going to start by doing that, unlocking his potential, as well as promoting some combat manuals, as usual. So to start, here's our plus speed Morgie, now at 5-star and ready to go, but we still need 9 more Morgans promoted as well. So just going to burn some feathers, promote our good boy, and our son has been studying up and is now ready to begin his training. So to start, we are going to just merge into our plus speed Morgan, remove that attack flaw. And then we're going to merge the other copies as well. And as I mentioned, I've been considering Morgan for a while. He just seems fun because I love Morgan, so having more Morgan is not a bad thing. Also, I love the art. Toby is my favorite artist in FEH, so love to get more art by Toby on our team rotation. And seems useful. His refine is pretty solid. I think we can definitely find some use for it, in addition to just being a good red infantry unit. So pretty excited to work him into our teams. And we are plus 8. Plus 9. And plus 10. Ba-da-da-da-da. There he is, our good boy ready to go. And as you can see, he is already dark blessed. I figured with the thematic ties to Lord Grima, it would be fitting to keep that dark blessing on him and just show that allegiance a little bit. Next, let's go ahead and give him an accessory. I decided we're going to give him the Mage Cap EX. Just kind of fits and it looks a little like he's wearing a little purple hood to match his outfit. I mean, if you squint. But there we go. Cute little accessory for him. We could give him some dragon flowers. I don't think it's that important, but he does have pretty good stats all around, so I guess maybe tossing like 5 at him wouldn't hurt. I'm not sure if he'll need more. We'll see once he's level 40 and we see his fully finished stats, but 5 flowers for now is good enough. For his ally support, while I think it would be really funny to pair him up with female Morgan, just for fun, I think that he will get the most mileage from pairing up with male Chris, since he can help provide some debuffs there. So we're going to break up his support with Alphonse, unfortunately, but I'm sure Alphonse will find someone else he can support in the future, probably a melee armor. There we go. And now, like a deadbeat dad trying to make up for lost time, we are going to shower our good boy with many gifts. Although less than most of my other units, because he doesn't actually need that much, thanks to his very strong pref, which is what we're actually going to be starting with. He has a fairly strong niche, and I don't see much reason to try and force him out of that niche by giving him a bunch of different builds. So we're going to just focus on one build for him. That will also leave open options for other units that I might want to build in the future. So we are going to start by refining Grima's Truth. This will give him a mini attack, speed, and res menace. Funny that it doesn't actually drain any defense, considering his tome actually does give him a defense boost anyway. But it also gives him a bit of a Plaguean effect into the tome, letting him get some really good stat swings going just for existing, making him kind of like a walking debuff pillar, which gives him some strong utility in supporting the team. Even if he's not the one initiating combat, he can still drain and weaken an enemy. But he's still a bit different from my other debuffer, Kaze, who is more of a tactical debuffer. He needs to attack, but then he lays down some smokes on enemies. Morgan's just kind of a walking pillar that just runs around and debuffs enemies just by existing. So they do have different uses and different utility. And it also keeps him a bit different as well from some other debuffers I've considered building, like that healer set that I considered for res-heavy healers like Mercedes and Forest. But to start, we are going to get our good boy a new book. There we go. And now we are going to get him some skills. Starting with some assist skills, we're just going to go ahead and grab Swap, Smite, everyone's favorite Reposition, and he actually already has drawbacks, so we don't need to grab that. We'll go ahead and grab Rally Res and Drive Speed from Tail to You. For specials, we'll go ahead and grab Moonbow, and we'll throw in Speed Opening just as a toss-in, so that he does have some additional team support as an option. And of course, I love my Aether. Also get the Soul Line for some potential sustain. He does have a decent enough bulk that he can take a hit here and there. Bonus Doubler is a skill that has some synergy with his tome's ability to buff himself. Although I'm not wild about the skill, I do think that it's worth grabbing, and I got the combat manual for free from the code shop, so might as well put it to use, give him an option there. And if we can get him a def boost from a teammate, then that could also play with that. However, I think the more consistent option for his A slot is going to be attack speed ideal. We're going to grab 1 and 2 there from Muriel, and then we are going to grab Rally Def Res and Def Res Plus, as well as attack speed ideal 3 and 4. So that will give him a very solid attack speed boost on top of his existing stat swing. So he should just be doubling a lot of things. And since he is fairly fast, we're going to also grab Luna and Flashing Blade from Summer Ilger. But that is more just a bonus to getting Flashing Blade 4 as a throw-in along with Null Follow-Up, since he is going to have a lot of speed. Being able to ensure that he gets his follow-ups off will be very helpful. Though I was thinking he'd also benefit from having Legendary Male Byleth as a partner, because then he would be receiving null follow-up from him and could afford to run something like Lull Speed Res in the B slot instead, just to give him a little more oomph. But for now, Null Follow-Up works great on him and lets him work as a competent standalone unit. Finally, we're going to just give him Pulse Smoke from this extra set that I have laying around. I think it could be helpful that he could pick off a crippled unit that he hit with his tome, throw down the Pulse Smoke, and then allies can rush in and fight those enemies as well. Seems kind of useful to have as an option. So now we're just going to go ahead and learn all of these and level him up, and then we will be back and ready to build him up. So we are just going to start learning all of these various skills. Alright, we are done training our boy. He has learned all his various skills and we are ready to build him up. Though again, we are only going with one build this time, just because I like him in his one niche and I'd like to keep other potential roles open for other units if I want to build them in the future. And I think he's pretty strong with just the one build, and it's fairly cheap as well. So no need to go overboard with the investment. And to start, we are of course sticking with his Pref Tome Grima's Truth. It's pretty solid, gives him a mini Menace effect. In fact, I think that's what we could call this boy. He is just a mini Menace. It doesn't debuff quite as much as a normal Menace skill, but it does affect attack speed and res all at the same time, which just being on his tome is already pretty great. So he drains the opponent for 5, giving a stat swing of 10 total with the -5 on foe and +5 on himself. Then if he's above 25% HP, he gets an additional 4, plus whatever the current penalty is, with a Plaguean sort of effect. So the penalty would go to 9 plus 5 for 14 debuff, and then add on the extra 5 that he's getting himself for a stat swing of 19 off of just his tome, pretty much for free just by existing, which is pretty dang solid. It can't be turned off, so he could accidentally buff himself while panicked, or trigger an enemy unity skill. So there are still situations where it could be a drawback and we might prefer someone like Kaze to debuff, but very solid effect, especially for a 4-star unit. For his assist, we've got a bunch of different options. Smite I thought would be funny if we just drained an enemy of their stats, and then if we didn't like the matchup, we could use Smite to throw an ally at them. Just kind of funny. I don't know if it'd be better than like reposition, but I thought we'd give it to him anyway. And he does have Rally Def Res for a bit of a support option. Since he doesn't buff allies, this does give him an option for that, though it was more of just a throw-in from Luis. I think he's best off taking something like reposition drawback. We're going to go with drawback just because I like that on my mages. I really wish that there was a skill that let you basically swap buffs and penalties with an ally, kind of like a reciprocal aid for buffs. Then he could like drain stats off of the enemy, and then if his matchup was bad, like if they were blue, he could just trade the stats over to someone like Chris, who would have a better matchup, take those stats and just really hammer at the enemy. I think that'd be funny if he could do that, but alas, no such skill exists. For his special, he can run really anything, not really... He doesn't really need anything in particular. I think he might like Ruptured Sky if we had that, since he will get a lot of attack with this build, especially with his tome helping out. But since I don't have that, I think we'll just take Aether. Moonbow would be for faster specials. But since he debuffs the enemy, he does have a little bit of pseudo bulk to him, so being able to sustain himself wouldn't be bad. And it also can keep his HP topped off, which could counteract something like Fury's chip damage or help with something like attack speed ideal. In the A slot, he could take the aforementioned Fury, since it does bump all his stats across the board, and his tome kind of also does that. Bumping everything except Def, and funny enough, it also grants flat Def +3 as its base effect, which is kind of ill-fitting, but very funny. But he has some other options. with all the stat swing that he'll be doing, particularly on speed, we even took a speed asset to help him double more often. He could take Flashing Blade 4, and that would also help charge Aether faster. But he also has Bonus Doubler, which could work with his Tomes effect, giving him an extra 5 to his attack speed and res pretty much for free, and that could go even higher if he's getting like a defense boost from an ally. Could be interesting, though it's completely dead versus panics and lull skills, and lulls are especially common. And also Morgan does have decent def and res, but speed is more important for his build, so I think we're better off just taking attack speed ideal, which is actually live even if he doesn't have a buff, as long as his HP is full. If he fulfills both conditions, he gets an extra 9, which on top of the 19 from earlier would put him at a stat swing of, I think, 28, which could be very powerful if he manages to get everything off. And even if he doesn't have full HP, a stat swing of 26 is still very solid. I don't really like ideal skills or catch skills that much, though maybe this will help me come around to them a bit. I think it is worth exploring on Morgan just because he gets those buffs pretty much for free. For his B slot, he could take Desperation since we are stacking his speed, and he also has these breaker skills, but better than a breaker skill, we could just run Null Follow-Up. He's going to be very fast anyway, but this lets him break through things that prevent his follow-up normally, so I think it's a little more valuable. And again, if he was paired with Legendary Male Byleth, he could take something like Lull Speed Res instead, so that might be a worthwhile pickup for him in the future. Finally, for his C slot, just any general use. Team support could be helpful. His native spur, drive, speed opening could also help his other allies. Someone like Chris, or again, if he were paired up with Legendary Male Byleth, he could appreciate the speed as well. But we're going to go with Pulse Smoke on him. The way I envision it going is he drains the enemy's stats, and while they're crippled, he attacks them, drops the Pulse Smoke on the surrounding enemies, and then our allies come in and tank for him. So being able to help out by slowing down enemy specials could be very powerful. Then finally, the Seal is flexible as always. He could take a thing like a Tactic or a Chill or even something like Close Guard or a Drive skill to offer some extra team support, but we also can lean more into his offensive power. He could take something like Swift Sparrow, Life and Death, Blade Session, though again I think that he'll probably be attacking earlier in the turn, so Blade Session might not be as powerful on him. And we just got Attack Def Catch, so we might see ideal skills in the near future, and if we get one of those, that could be a very solid option for him, providing another 5 attack and def pretty much for free. Really anything that bumps up his stats, even something like attack speed solo could work, though I like the idea of running attack speed form just because I like to clump my units together anyway, so I think we'll go with that for now. But Seal slot, very flexible. I really just want to lean into his offenses more. So there he is, looking very solid. His attack and speed are going to reach some pretty high levels if he can keep all his effects going on. He could also eventually get something like joint drive, attack, or speed. That could be a more useful C slot for him personally, but overall, pretty nice for a budget build. So now it is time to finally see the build in action, but first we need to pick some teammates for him, and I think it's only fitting that we bring his alternate gender counterpart and see these two cooperate and work together to take down our foes. We'll also bring dear old dad Robin. And finally, in the last slot, we'll bring Chris, who can benefit from the Plaguean debuffs Morgan provides, and also rounds out our color coverage a bit. For their builds, Morgan is just running her offensive nuke set with SR Far Trace to move around while she just blows things up. Speed Res Ring does give her some additional support in addition to Father's tactics, but otherwise mostly focusing on offense. While our dear dad Robin focuses on defending the team, being able to tank some hits with Spider Plush, Close Reversal, ignoring buffs on the enemy, and even providing some defensive support. And then finally, Chris will be able to swoop in and capitalize off of any debuffed enemies that Morgan leaves lying around, as well as move people around with his cavalry movement. Nothing too fancy there, but I do like the potential synergy between Plegian Axe and Grima's Truth, so I think they will be powerful partners together. So we are here in Arena Assault to test the team out. We found this Dimitri lead that we are going to bully, and let's see what the enemies look like. We've got Dimitri, who could be a little spooky with his Atrocity and Aardvar. We have Marth. That's just a regular Marth, right? Yeah. Just regular. I thought for a second that was a Brave Marth, but no, just regular. So he could be providing them some support. We have Hana, pretty strong offensive unit, and then Summer Sylvain, the fan favorite boy. So we're going to just see how our team works. Hold on, he's got a Tempest skill. I almost forgot. I was like, I'm gonna just bring Morgan up, and I'm like, wait, he does have a Tempest skill. I have to pay a little bit of attention to the positioning. I don't think he'd reach us even if it goes off, but I just have to actually keep that in mind. So let's see them go. Yeah, okay, he didn't reach us, but that could have been scary if I wasn't paying attention. So we're just going to start by actually, we're going to pull back once more. The Tempest skill will turn off, and we'll be able to be safe. So Dimitri's going to come down. Oh, no, never mind. He's not going to come down. Yeah, Morgan cannot take him out, but that is fine. Let them just, we'll wait for them to approach. Okay, there's that Dimitri. Close by, now he's debuffed. Yeah, Morgan can't quite get it, but he's actually surprisingly close despite weapon triangle disadvantage. Robin can hit and survive, but then he would probably die to Hana. But we can send Chris up to take out Dimitri. Bam! Down he goes. And we'll just pull back with Robin. And move Morgan over to support. Robin endures and hits him for a good chunk. And now it would be any of these guys could take him out, but we'll have Male Morgan strike him down into the desert sands, and then we will pass. Alright, let's just pass again. I want to get that debuff on her. Okay, so we would actually do more damage from down here thanks to Morgan's support and our ally support, but we can bring him up here, and then he'll also be in range to tank Sylvain. So we're going to hit Hana. Look at all these funny numbers on the top of the screen. Look at all those debuffs she was getting hit with. Very funny. And we will pass turn. And Sylvain attacks. Look once again at Morgan with the plus 12 attack and 9 speed. Pretty good. And there we go. No real threat, no real issue. But our team was able to take them down pretty handily. So that was a fun little showcase of our team's capabilities. There is definite synergy there between Morgan and Chris, and draining stats can still be helpful for the other allies. Just fun, and surprisingly solid for a 4-star unit. He has some interesting utility and potential there. So this was a bit of a shorter unit build showcase, but still had fun with it. Still excited to have our good boy Morgan join the Angel Army. We have both the adorable Morgans now. They are so cute, fantastic characters, and now they can work together to just pound our enemies into the dust. And on another note, that makes for our 20th plus 10. So that's a fun milestone. And as a result of being our 20th plus 10 unit, that means we can now fill an entire brigade with just our plus 10s, which is pretty awesome. Our little angel army has certainly come a long way. I've had fun building all these units, showing them off, and hopefully you've enjoyed as well. So thank you as always so much for watching and joining me and Morgan on another unit build showcase. And until next time, this is Hoodie Angel Brandon and the Morgies signing out.